This video will demonstrate downloading and installing ece-x2go client software. Also, starting the ece-x2go client software will be shown. We will demonstrate getting an XFCE desktop from the ece-x2go server back to our device. Okay, now normally I would tell you to Google ece-x2go client software download and in Google and just go ahead and click on the first hit you get that from the company. And anyways, it turns out that downloading that has, when you download it with Chrome and Firefox, it says that the software has a virus. I believe the software is okay, but regardless, we'll want to, in fact, I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So you can watch along here for a second, but I don't want you to, actually I'm going to use Firefox. Okay, so with Firefox here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in ece-x2go, and I'm going to bring the Chrome up and close it. There we go. So I'm going to type in ece-x2go client download, and normally I would tell you to go here because this is where I would normally go to download the software. And I'm going to download the MS Windows software, and you can see it downloading the MS Windows software here. And it tells you the file contains a virus. So very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go delete that file. So don't do that, okay? Go ahead and get rid of those. So that's what you don't want to do. But what you do want to do is you want to go to this address, this link. And I'll just go ahead and copy this, paste it in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that particular link. I don't think the file's infected. I'm going to have to get final clearance from the LTS security people before I say that, though, officially. So what I'm doing, instead of going to the current release of the ece-x2go software, I'm going one release back, and it's the 4.1.2.0. So I'm going to go in there, and then I'm going to click on and download the setup.exe file from the version, one version back. I'll go ahead and click on that. And you see there's no virus warning for that file. So that's the version of the file that we want to get. Okay, so after getting that file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a right click on the little start flaggy thing here and go to File Explorer, go into Downloads, and that 4.1.2.0 is the file that was a little bit older, so I'll double click that, and that's the previous version. I deleted that first file that came down that indicated it had a virus. So it says, do you want to install the software? Yep. And we're just going to go with English. I'm going to agree to the license. It brings a few other things in here to make things work better. And this is where it's going to put it. This is the menu item that's going to insert. And then we go ahead and click the final thing, and it starts extracting it and installing it. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is you can see here I'm working from home. You can see that little globe with a lock. That means I'm connected to the Cisco VPN. The ece-x2go server that you're going to connect to is behind the Lehigh firewall, so you need to be connected to the Lehigh VPN. Okay, it says it finished it, and it's all done. I'll close the File Explorer window. Now it puts a little icon here on the desktop. That's what we're going to use, but you can also see if you go into your menu items. I'll click on All Apps. And if I go down here to the X portion of the applications, and if I click on that little box there, click once, and you can see the ece-x2go client. That's the same thing you see here on the desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the item on the desktop here. And since there are no current sessions existing, when you first open it, it's going to try and create a session. You get a couple windows that pop up. You can just go ahead and close those for now. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to enter in where it says session name. This is just text that describes the session. So I'm just going to type ece-x2go. Okay. And down here for host name, I'm going to type ece-x2go.cc.lehigh.edu. And I'm going to go in with a test login name of x00513. And one of the important things to do is where it says down here session type, it defaults to KDE. You want to change that to XFCE. Okay. And then I'm going to click OK down here to save the session. And you see the sessions will line themselves up on the right hand side here. If you have another ece-x2go server you're going into, and if you create an ece-x2go session, it will just come underneath. To start an ece-x2go session, click on the black text, and it pops up a little box, and you need to type in the password. Now this login ID is the ID that you're using for the ECE Teaching Lab Linux platform. In most cases, it will be the exact same login ID that you would use for the university. So now what I'm going to do is type in my password. And if it's your first time going in, you're going to see this message after you've logged in once you logged in once with a particular user ID from a particular machine, you won't see this message again. If you go in from another machine, you will see this message. This is asking if you'll accept the public half of an encryption key. Communications on this is encrypted. You might have even seen when you going in, it says it needs to allow access through a hole in the firewall. This uses port 22. Just click yes if you see that. So I'm going to click yes and accept the public half of the encryption key. Otherwise it won't work. Okay. Here you go. It's Window Defender has blocked some features. It's asking if I want to allow access. And so I'm just going to click allow access here. Okay. We're going to ignore that pulse audio not running because we're not getting sound for what we're doing. And here it's starting to connect. And it can take a minute or two depending what's happening on the network for this to connect. Okay, so here, it didn't display it up. I had to go down here and click on the little icon on the bottom. But here you can see the, this is the desktop it returns. And you can drag desktop around. You can make it bigger by grabbing a corner. And now pretty much we're going to test to make sure we can get graphics back. When you come in for the first time, it's going to ask you whether you want to have a default um, configuration. And just go ahead and click yes, take the default configuration. You'll see down here on the bottom that there's a terminal window. You can just click that terminal window to get started. So go ahead and click on that terminal window. The other way you can get to a terminal window is if you click on Applications and come down here to System, and you can get to a terminal window. Okay. If you want to put a terminal window in your desktop, you come down here to System, you come down here to Terminal, and then if you drag that, do a left click and drag that out, holding the mouse button down, that would drag the terminal window out. Now it's asking if I want to replace it because I already have a terminal window out here using that method, but I'll just click no. So I'm going to just I'll click the terminal window down here in the bottom. I double clicked it and it gave me two windows. I think you can click it once. So in order to test whether we get graphics back, what we're going to do is we're going to type the word gedit. Gedit is it looks like a notepad type of editor. And so we'll just click gedit and then we'll click enter. And what you see come back, it's displaying graphics back to the screen. And this is a kind of a notepad type of editor called gedit. And so that works. So I'm going to go ahead and close the gedit program. And on the terminal, I'm going to type exit to close the terminal. And then I'm going to log off. Okay. Now you can, if you click shutdown, it's going to kind of ungracefully shut you down. I would recommend clicking log off. It's a little bit more graceful. And you want to make sure you log off to work. That'll help prevent sessions getting hanged. So when you're done, leave gracefully. And then click log out. Brings you back here to your local device, and then you're all done. I'll click cancel here. That puts that back up in the session list. Okay, so that's all there is to connecting to the ece-x2go server and verifying that the ece-x2go server will return graphics back to your local device. Thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful.